We are just about underway at Pride Park with Watford all in yellow, but before we get going, the players take the knee as footballers up and down the country continue to show their support for the Black Lives Matter campaign. Sema to deliver, left-footed, whips in towards the near post towards Pedro. It's Evans gets something to it. It comes to Feminier on the volley on the edge of the box, fires high over the crossbar. Kiko Feminier, and he scored a couple of times for the Hornets, and off target there as the ball came out to him. 16, 17 yards from goal. They look for João Pedro at the near post where the height was really at the far. Here comes Rooney then, right-footed, does go for goal, hits the back of João Pedro and goes behind for another Derby corner. Little wry smile on the face of Rooney as he wanders to go and take the corner. João Pedro jumping, and it hit him in the small of the back and spins behind for another corner on the left-hand side. So it'll be another in-swinger from Rooney. Jason Knight blocking Ben Foster off again inside the 6-yard box. I think the referee though is just going to check he's not getting too close to him before this corner is taken. Ben Foster still trying to just make sure the referee's attention is drawn to that blocking off. It's driven in again by Rooney. It's Cabaselli who gets his head to it and clears to the edge of the penalty area. Keena flicks it on, but it's worked back out to the left-hand touchline, and Rooney, who takes a touch and then changes the angle, works it towards the far post. There's a couple of men over. Davis got his head to it. Didn't hear the shout from Evans coming in behind him, and Foster can make a comfortable catch away from his goal on the left-hand. He's cleverly inside the centre circle and without looking turns the ball out to the left hand side, and it's a fine ball. Feminier keeps it in and he can run at Byrne level with the edge of the penalty area. Goes on the outside and he's round him. He's into the penalty area, cuts it back towards Sema. It just held off it by Bird. Good defending from the Derby midfielder to hold off Ken Sema, and the home side clear. Although Wilmot's won it back on the edge of the penalty area. Left hand side, Ben Wilmot bursting into the penalty area as a left winger. But his cross is parried at the near post by Marshall, and with under no pressure, the Derby stopper can claim it at the second attempt. Again goes one against. Byrne comes infield onto his right foot this time, into the edge of the penalty area, clips it down the line to Sema, drives it towards the near post, and Pedro's there, but it's cleared behind by Davis. Just got there ahead of João Pedro. That was much more incisive from the Hornets. Feminier with a clever little reverse ball. Sema held his run, was onside as Derby pushed up, drilled it towards the near post, and Curtis Davis read it well, got there just ahead of João Pedro. Watford have their first corner. His ball forward is curled all the way through to Ben Foster. Comes out of his area, controls it, finds Cleverly though is giving it away to Jason Knight, and Foster has to scamper back into his goal. Knight attacks the edge of the penalty area. Rooney outside him. Here's Wayne Rooney, cuts it back towards Jason Knight. It'll come to Holmes on the edge of the box, takes a touch. His shot just over the bar. Well, it came from a Watford mistake, but the closest we've come to a goal tonight. Dwayne Holmes will perhaps feel a little disappointed he didn't hit the target there from 20 yards. It was a good couple of feet over the bar. A loose ball from Tom Cleverly, intercepted by Jason Knight. Rooney cutting the ball back towards the edge of the penalty area. Holmes had some time to take a touch or two, but then his shot was clipped too high, and Watford survive.
I think it's the only reason it's 0-0 is poor execution from Derby, not just from Holmes but also from Knight, who, if he'd got his head up there when he received the pass from Cleverly, Ben Foster wasn't even in his 18-yard box. He could have scored with his first touch if he'd got his head up, but he obviously didn't see that at the time.
Here's Feminier moving down the left-hand side, finding Sema. Sema's away again down the left-hand side, cuts it back towards the penalty spot. It's cleared by Bird as Pedro gone into the 6-yard box. There's no one really following up there, but Ngakia wins it back and cleverly goes for goal from 35 yards. Always rising and goes high beyond David Marshall's crossbar behind for a goal kick. 0-0 with 2 minutes left of this first half, Tommy Rooney.
Yeah, just a poor decision from Tom Cleverly. When things are not going well, you tend to make more mistakes than if everything's rosy. But some good work from Watford down the left-hand side. Sema did brilliant to keep possession, and then for Feminier, and then Sema again putting crosses into the box. It's just that final pass, there's no real quality on it.
And Feminier is already well forward, running at Byrne. Still going Feminier. Checks on the edge of the box and then curls it towards the far post. Cleverly's nearest to it. It was blocked off by Buchanan, both of them holding each other's shirts. And there'll be no injury time at the end of the first half. Cleverly felt he was fouled there, but referee ruling 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. And that is the end of the first 45 minutes. And it's a free kick, a yard or two outside the penalty area, a yard or two up from the goal line. On the left-hand side, Domingos Keena is going to deliver this. The 3 centre-halves are forward again, hovering around the penalty spot. Ocon, Wilmot and Cabaselli. Pedro just behind them. standing with his hands on his hips. Here comes Domingos Kina, curled in towards the near post, flicked on by Chalabar. Pedro thinks it came off a defender. The ball actually comes off the corner flag, so stays in. Now it would be a Watford throw, a couple of yards up from the corner flag on the right-hand side. Again, looking for that near post delivery, Tommy. Every set piece so far has gone in towards the near post for the Hornets.
Well, Chalabar's he's in there on his own at the front post.
Actually came off George Evans, who conceded the free kick. Now on the right-hand side, it's Ngaki, who's ran a couple of challenges. Drills it into the box. Pedro touched it down. Here's Chalabar. Shots deflected and wide. Now Watford think that it may have been handball, but
well, there's 6
they're
or 7
going to get a corner,
players,
not a penalty.
Yeah, 6 or 7 players are claiming for exactly the same thing, so they're certain it's hit his hand. But the referee's given the corner.
Well, we're seeing a replay of it here on our screens. Chalabar's shot did hit the hand of George Evans.
Well, if
it's
we had
from
VAR,
close range.
If we had VAR, though, John, that's a penalty because it's an unnatural hand position. Yeah, if he had gloves on, you would be saying that's a good save. You know, it's frustrating, but at least that might trigger something in the game and raise the activity from the Watford players.
Throw forward for Rooney, who tries to turn a Kong, attacks the edge of the penalty area, turns it to his right. Here's Knight. Knight shoots from range and take a deflection before heading towards the corner flag. I don't think it did. Just spun off the outside of his right boot, but Kong perhaps just got a little bit too tight there to Wayne Rooney. We've set it up for Jason Knight joining in, but his shot way off target. Watford have a goal kick. Keener with the corner. It's an outswinger towards Capacelli, who heads it down. It bounces off a Derby defender, takes the power off it through to David Marshall to make a comfortable save.
Yeah, I think there's 3 or 4 players jumping for the same header and it's just dropped. A yard closer to Chalabar, he might have had a touch on it to try and push it into the net, but it's hit Buchanan on the head and just dropped safely into Marshall's hands. Kinner's not done an awful lot. Could we change the shape slightly at this stage with what, 15, 20 minutes to go in the game? Lovely turn from Tom Lawrence away from Cathcart, attacks Chalabar, attacks Capacelli, goes for goal, straight at Foster from the edge of the area, but there's the threat of Tom Lawrence. Lovely turn, 35 yards from goal, attack the edge of the penalty area, but he warms the palms of Ben Foster, but shot that didn't trouble the Watford keeper. That's what we want João Pedro and Ken Sema to be doing at the opposite end. You know, a little bit of sharp brilliance with his first touch, opens it up and takes 3 defenders out of the game. Here's João Pedro, who's just caught 35 yards from goal as he looked to nip the ball round Graham Shinney from I think Keener's knockdown. So a Watford free kick in a promising position. In fact, it was Sema that chested it down for João Pedro, who just ran into Shinney. And it's a fortunate free kick, but it's a free kick nonetheless. Yeah, it's a cheap one. It's a cheap free kick. I think he had a poor touch and it took him away, but he's gone down and we've kept possession. A little bit too far out for a shot, I would suggest. It's what, 35-ish yards? Not sure. Pretty central position. Chalabar's Roy of the Rovers, but it's certainly that sort of distance. It does look like he's going to shoot. Two-man Derby wall in front of him. Here comes Nathaniel Chalabar. Does go for goal. It was a decent enough hit, but it never came down. Power, but not precision. Derby have a goal kick. Just works it back to Feminier, level with the edge of the penalty area. Now Wilmot. He's 10 yards outside the box. Still going Ben Wilmot into the feet of Pedro, who could turn. Wilmot's continued into the penalty area. Pedro goes for goal! What a goal! What a goal from João Pedro! Curled into the top corner of Marshall's net. A stunning strike from the Brazilian. And out of nothing, this game comes alive. Watford have the lead with 15 minutes to go. A second goal of the season from João Pedro. And what a goal it was. Derby County 0, Watford 1. Well, we've been talking now for 75 minutes in the game how we need João Pedro to get the ball in and get turned in and around the edge of the box. You know, the 3 centre-halves have just dropped off. They've done it the whole of the second half, just dropping off, and he's turned. And, you know, he's thankfully has the ability to not just turn on the ball, but to put it in the top corner of the net, and it's a fantastic goal. Looks even better in slow-mo. Not a chance for the goalkeeper. From the moment it left João Pedro's boot, curled and arced beyond the flailing arms of David Marshall. And João Pedro just starting to light up the championship. That's why Watford signed him when he was still just
16. They spotted him in Brazil. Here's Tom Lawrence. And he's looking to release Rooney. Rooney is through down the middle here. Rooney shoots, but inches wide of the left-hand post. Wayne Rooney would have backed himself there. Tom Lawrence with a clever ball in between Kabasele and Wilmot. Rooney was away. Kabasele perhaps did just enough to knock him off balance, and he curled it a foot wide of Ben Foster's left-hand post.
It was only his athleticism that got his shoulder into Rooney's to put him off his natural balance, because you'd expect him to score from there.
And Keena can attack George Evans here, and he tacks the edge of the penalty on the left-hand side. Still going Domingos. Keena goes for the far post, but he didn't get a curl on it. And it goes, drifts wide of David Marshall's left-hand post. Nice flat on his back inside the penalty area, Domingos Keena.
Yeah, you can see he's frustrated with himself. You know, he'd worked that into an excellent opportunity for himself. Got the defender backing off, going into the 18-yard box. You can understand what he's trying to do there. He just didn't have the quality with that final touch.
James Garner is going to come on late on for the Hornets, but not before this corner is delivered by the Derby captain. Rooney, though, takes his short. As Watford have fallen asleep, and here's Whittaker inside the penalty. Drills it in low. Kabasele stabs it away. Keena thumps it away to the edge of the box. Lawrence with the shot. It's blocked by Cleverly. And into touch for a Derby throw. 10 yards short of the Watford penalty on the right-hand side. They appealed in vain for handball against Watford's captain there. But, he was further away from it than Evans in the Derby penalty area.
He was, but his body was in the natural. If it hadn't hit his arm, you know, it would have hit his rib cage.
His right arm is tucked in as he turned away from the ball.
And again, now with the new rules, it's hit the captain's armband on the other arm. So, you know, it's with the T-shirt rule, that's not for me a penalty.
75 seconds left of stoppage time. Rooney then right-footed from 25 yards, goes over the wall and just over the bar. It wasn't far away. Foster was at full stretch. But fortunately for Watford, it hit the top of the net rather than the back of the net.
Yeah, you could see he got a little bit too much spin on the ball, and, you know, it was never underneath the crossbar.
Looks for Rooney on the edge of the box. Rooney's control lets him down. Cleverly thumps it into touch for a Derby throw. Level with the edge of the penalty area. But there's the full-time whistle, and Watford have won on the road for the first time this season, for the first time since January the 12th, and a little bit of Brazilian brilliance seals the day for the Hornets. João Pedro curling in from 20 yards, 14 minutes from time, his second goal of the season, his second goal in English football, and Watford are back to winning ways. A hard-fought victory in a game, a few goalmouth incidents, but a little bit of magic wins the 3 points for Watford. João Pedro providing it.
Click here if you love this.